ladies. Thank you for tuning in to our channel. Listen up, all you pouts. Today's information hopefully can take your biz to the next level. How are you today?
I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm good. Thank you so much for allowing us to take your time to tell us about what KC SourceLink can offer to entrepreneurs. But first and foremost, I want you to introduce yourself.
All right. So my name is Jenny Miller, and I'm the Senior Director of Ecosystem Development at the UMKC Innovation Center. And so with that, I oversee KC SourceLink, which is one of the reasons why we're talking today, is to look at what is KC SourceLink and how are we helping entrepreneurs.
All right. So Jenny, we're going to go ahead and get into this interview. So tell us a little more in depth on what services KC SourceLink could offer to a beginning entrepreneur, someone that's a dreamer, someone that's thinking about going into business and they're not sure where to start.
All right. So the start is KC SourceLink. We are a program of UMKC, so everything we do is free and open to everyone. So someone can simply call us on the phone, 816-235-6500. Talk to us about where you're at in your business, where you want to go, kind of what your hopes and dreams are, and we'll help lay out a path, like a step-by-step guide to help people get there and connect them with the tools, the resources, the people that they need to accomplish each step of that plan. Okay. So we have some of those things people often ask, well, what does that mean? What resources are there? Mm-hmm. We have a network of more than 240 organizations across Kansas City that offer free or low-cost assistance for businesses. So this is mentoring, it's training and education, it is funding, it is really anything, legal counseling, really anything that a business would need from that I have an idea, I think I want to start, through market entry, growth, and exit of that business.
Okay, so it sounds like you guys are the link, just like your name says, KC SourceLink. So you're the source, you're the link to the sources.
Yes.
Okay.
Just break it up and back it up.
Okay, got you.
To resources in Kansas City for business.
Gotcha. Okay, so as far as we're gonna go into when KC SourceLink actually decided to fill that niche. What did you guys see, and what were some of the challenges you guys were seeing in Kansas City that made you come up with the KC SourceLink and decide to offer these resources or connect with these resources that are local?
So it's an interesting story, and we were a startup just like the businesses that we're helping start. In 2003, the Kauffman Foundation and UMKC and the Small Business Administration came together and said, we need to do something more for entrepreneurs and business owners in Kansas City. So just as we recommend entrepreneurs do a research, do lay of the land. What's out there? What's happening? Who's doing what? And from that research, we found that Kansas City is very rich in resources. The problem was the entrepreneurs and business owners don't know about the resources. And if they do know about them, they don't know which one's the best for them. So they don't reach out. So that's why KC SourceLink was founded, was to fill that niche of making the right connections with the right people at the right time to make entrepreneurship easier. We're founded to do that in 2003. The network has grown now to more than 240 resources. And we have seen, we talk to thousands of entrepreneurs and businesses. It's our job to know all of the resources and who they are and what they do. So then that allows us to identify gaps in the market in Kansas City and then work with our partners to fill those gaps to make sure there is everything that a business owner needs.
Okay, so that brings me, and I'm sorry, not trying to cut you off, but that brings me to my next question. So, for instance, you guys have individuals that come and contact KC SourceLink. Okay, so do you guys track what steps the entrepreneur has accomplished or completed within that, you linking them up to those different sources.
We do, yes.
Mhm.
So we have we've developed our own tracking mechanism because what we do is a little bit different than a lot of other organizations. So we
Okay.
developed our own technology that helps us track all of these moving pieces within the ecosystem. So when an entrepreneur calls us or during non-COVID time comes into our office or meets us at an event or right now reaches out virtually or through our website, we document, that we talk to them, the type of business they're looking to start, and we also document where they are in the process and the resources that we connect them with. We then reach out to that entrepreneur about a month later and see, do you need more help right now? Did you reach out to these resources? Was it helpful? How can we help you move down the path if that's what you've decided, if you've kind of accomplished those first steps in moving forward?
Mm-hmm.
So then we can look and see, how many people are starting businesses in Kansas City, how many connections are being made to the resources. It really allows us to kind of see again what's happening, and again try and identify those gaps early and help if there's something that we're seeing.
All right. Okay. So as far as over your years of growing with KC SourceLink, and being exposed to a number amount of entrepreneurs today in Kansas City, could you kind of tell us what businesses you've seen actually utilize the resources and that are still in business today and has actually been beneficial for them?
So I've been with KC SourceLink for over 7 years now. So
Okay.
I have seen people start businesses and grow those businesses, now being listed as Entrepreneur of the Year or Small Business of the Year. They're hiring people. They are really doing great things for business and for the economy of Kansas City. Seen people come in and start a business and pivot and start something new, and then maybe stop that or sell that business and start another, kind of the serial entrepreneur type of thing. We've also seen people that, entrepreneurship isn't for them. So they've been able to transition into something else for their life path. There's a lot. I think the stats say on any given day, there's about 93,000 people across Kansas City that are thinking about starting a business.
Okay.
So that's a lot of people that want to be entrepreneurs.
There is. That is. Could you tell us about one that kind of really you were anticipating, or that individual or entrepreneur, their journey really touched your heart and you were kind of excited to see, tell us a little about that if you experienced that.
Yes. So there was, I hadn't asked him to share his story before, so I won't share his name, but I'll tell you the story. When he came into KC SourceLink, he was looking to start his business and needed capital to do that, which is very common with businesses. However, he did not have a credit score. A lot of times you hear of people having bad credit. He didn't have credit. So we were able to work with the resource partners in the network in order to get him credit, to get small amounts of funding for his business and build that up so that he was able to start for himself, but then also he started hiring people. So he grew that business to about 13 employees, then actually sold it, and has now just launched his second endeavor during the pandemic.
That's awesome.
So,
That's awesome. That is awesome to you guys here that KC SourceLink is actually linking individuals to resources that can definitely be very beneficial to your business. So if you are thinking that maybe I have this challenge up in front of me right now, I may not be able to start, well, definitely get in touch with KC SourceLink. And you heard A personal entrepreneur that was here in Kansas City that went through the program had a challenge, but that challenge did not stop them. That actually helped them move them to the next, level to launch that business. So, Sarah, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, Jenny. I got Sarah on my mind. So, Jenny, as far as on each level, I'm just kind of trying to break it down. As far as a beginning entrepreneur, we see the challenge could be resources. Now, once that entrepreneur has actually started developing the business, what do you see sometimes that next challenge could be? Would that be funding, or what would that be often?
When about 65% of the individuals that we work with are at the very, very early stage. So again, the think I want to start and I don't know where to go. So we back them up to the very beginning and look at what's happening in your industry. What are some areas that you have background and expertise in? How can you use that to fill a gap and be a successful business? So we do a lot of work with training and education at that very early stage, doing research so that the entrepreneur has all of the numbers that they need. They have everything in place before they invest a large amount of money or a large amount of time, so that we want them to be as successful as possible from the very beginning. So once we kind of get those pieces in place, they have their facts and their figures, they know how much it's going to cost, know who their target market is going to be, are filling a gap in the market, have their business mentor, then we're going to look at funding, right? So how much money you are going to need. And we always say funders want to know, how much are you going to need? When are you going to repay us? And how are you going to repay us? We want to make sure that the entrepreneur is able to answer those questions before they go to a funder. Okay. And then we can look at kind of what's next for this business. Are we ready to launch? Do they have an MVP? Even really service-based business and product-based business, you need to be able to have your plan in place, but then also be able to kind of pivot if you see things aren't going correctly. So making sure that they have the resources and the skill set to see that and be able to effectively run this business.
Okay, so I heard you say we. So internally, that's a process that you guys do, KC SourceLink, correct?
And it's the whole network.
Okay. So everyone as a whole.
Yep. And gotcha. That's one thing with KC SourceLink, the service providers are able to see kind of how they fit into the network so that they can specialize at helping this type of entrepreneur at this stage of business and do that really well, and then kind of hand that person off to the next service provider. Okay. So that they're getting the most accurate and most helpful advice and assistance at that time, and then move on through we developed a resource rail. So it kind of starts at the very beginning, and an entrepreneur can see all the organizations and know who's coming next that they need to work with. So again, it's easier for the entrepreneur, but then the service providers also know who else is out there so they can specialize in their area and do it really well, but then know who else this person needs to talk to as they're growing their business.
Okay, so let's do a little role playing.
All right.
If you will. Okay, so I'm a new entrepreneur and I contact you, Jenny, and I say, hey, Jenny, I have this brilliant idea. I want to go into business for myself. What would be the first step as far as the resources what would be the first step?
So we would look at, have you owned a business before?
Okay, yes, I have.
So you have, all right. So you kind of know what to expect as you're going into this endeavor. Do you have a business plan in place so you know how much it's going to cost you to move forward?
Yes.
All right. So are you working with a business mentor?
Not right now.
Okay. So then my first step would be to line you up with a mentor. so that you
Okay.
have someone that you can consistently go back to that can work with you on your business. And then, did you mention you were looking for funding?
I am looking for funding, Jenny.
You are. And do you know how much you need?
Well, I would say around about 10,000 right now.
All right. So looking at $10,000 to start a business, you're going to want to look a lot with family and friends. So we have some resources that can help you walk through what those conversations mean. You might be eligible for some of our micro lenders in Kansas City. So I can line you up with some of those micro lenders so you can have those conversations with them. And make sure that you're working with your mentor so that you can answer some of the key questions that funders want to know, such as how much do you need? How are you going to repay this and when? So that you're having effective conversations as you move forward.
Okay. So, Jenny, as far as a mentor, would I have a mentor that has some sort of background of the type of business that I'm trying to launch, or would this be just a mentor that could help me with the overall just becoming an entrepreneur?
So we can work either ways.
Okay.
There is an organization in Kansas City called SCORE that has 75 volunteer mentors that come from a variety of different backgrounds. So we can work to line you up with one of them. There are also across Kansas City organizations such as the Small Business Development Centers or the Women's Business Center that can work with you on the specifics of your business.
Okay.
So it kind of depends on if you feel strongly that you need somebody with industry experience, then let's try and line you up with somebody that has industry experience. If you're more concerned about the business side of it, making sure you have your financials and your marketing, operations, all of that in place, then we'd probably work more with a business counselor.
Well, I would like to do that. I would actually like to find out if I have went through the proper steps. I think just from my experience, yes, I've had a business, but I want to make sure for this endeavor that I am taking the proper steps.
All right. And so then in Kansas City, since we're on a state line, it would depend on which side of the state line you're located on, and then we can get you lined up with the best small business development center or women's business center. So kind of depending on where you're at and what you're doing, we have options.
Okay, great. Okay, so as far as just someone that doesn't have any experience, what route would I go if I said I didn't have any?
Then we're going to get you lined up with some trainings and some classes to help walk through that process so that you have your expectations appropriately set as you go into the endeavor. There are some really great classes across Kansas City. There's Elevation Lab, New Venture for those new to business development. There's Entrepreneur Business Basics. If you want to kind of jam pack everything into one day, there's a really great class out at Johnson County Community College that's all 8 to 4, just brain dump all at you in a day. So kind of depending on what your schedule is, what level of involvement you want with the education, we would get you connected with some of those classes.
Okay, and could you tell us what the cost would be? You know, I'm on a budget and I'm trying to start this business. What would that cost look like for me?
It fluctuates. There's chips available for these. Also, the one-day class is going to be a lot less expensive than I mentioned Elevation Lab. That's actually 6 weeks of classes, or the Entrepreneur Business Basics are again 2 months, I think, of classes. So it depends on the training, where it's at, and also the length of it.
Okay. So as
there's also, sorry.
I'm excited. I'm still in role play mode. So
there's also free options too. So I mentioned SCORE with their volunteer base. They actually do a series of 5 classes over several weeks that are on evenings and weekends, if that would work better for your schedule. So then you can take advantage of that free option too. And then it starts with the basics and moves into financials and marketing and helps you develop all those pieces of your business.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, so as you know, we're all in the pandemic, COVID-19. What are some of the resources or some of the things you guys have seen around Kansas City that's supporting those that are affected or just period that are out because of the COVID-19 to support entrepreneurs?
We have seen a lot of course, as everyone has had to do, our entrepreneur support organizations have shifted so that they're offering virtual support now. That through, like we're doing right here, you can set up Zoom calls with them. We're seeing virtual training classes so that people can take advantage of those training opportunities as they move forward. The Kansas City region really stepped up and did a COVID relief loan fund so that people can get access, especially if they maybe didn't qualify for or couldn't take advantage of some of the government stimulus funds. This fund was set up to help with that. We have also seen a lot of our municipalities, as CARES Act funding has trickled down to the local level, a lot of our municipalities are offering grants for our businesses. So those are constantly changing and being updated as funds become available. KC SourceLink has a page, kcsourcelink.com/COVID financing, that we're constantly updating with those financial opportunities for people, be that grant or loan funds that are coming up. We've also seen a lot during recessions. We've gone through a couple rounds of recessions since KC SourceLink was started. And we've seen a lot of people start businesses during recessions. Actually, some of your most successful businesses right now were started during our previous recession. So we're setting up a lot of resources to help people start a business during a recession as well.
Okay. So as far as I heard you say grants and some of the sources are out here creating grants and loans and things of that nature. For a beginner, what grant or loan would you recommend that is out here? What would you recommend for an entrepreneur to seek?
For a startup businesses, there's one grant opportunity that's available across Kansas City that I know of right now. And you have to live in a specific zip code in order to take advantage of those grant funds. I can look it up. I'm drawing a blank on what the zip code is. It's in KCMO. I'm sorry. But that is an opportunity. Otherwise, for a lot of your startup businesses, we would be looking at loans. So if you can access bank financing for your business, that's going to be the best option. If you can't access bank financing for some reason or another, or a wide variety of reasons, there are micro lenders across Kansas City that can help with that.
Okay. And as far as someone that's wanting to seek a loan that may not qualify for a grant, what would be the key things that they need to have in order to basically even qualify?
So when you're looking at loans, it really varies from bank institution to institution or from microlender to microlender. There are some character-based microloans that are available. So that set of criteria is very different than what it looks like if you're going to your bank for a line of credit for your business. So on the KC SourceLink website, we have a whole microsite dedicated to funding and financing for your business. That kind of helps people walk through what are your options, right? As I'm talking about bank financing versus what does that mean? So we have a page of our website set up to help people walk through that process. There are also some really great classes that will walk you through what do you need, what is the paperwork, even what is a balance statement, what's an income statement. If you are a startup, these are projections because you don't have the past 3 years of tax returns. So we make sure you know what's appropriate for your industry so you can set these projections. So we have people that can meet with you to talk to you about those financials. There's classes that are available. And then we can talk to you, get really kind of deep into what is your situation? What are you looking for? So that we can get you lined up with the best option.
Okay, okay. So Jenny, now this is kind of a personal topic geared towards you. With all these resources around you, have you ever decided, well, maybe I can start a business?
Every once in a while, I think I should do this. And then it's hard. It is hard to start and run your business. And I talk to so many people that are struggling or need help that I'm like, oh gosh, I don't know if I have the mental fortitude to get through that. So every once in a while, I get a little pinprick that says, yeah, go for it. And then I'm like, okay, slow down. I'm probably better at working with people to access resources than taking the leap myself.
Trust me, I understand. Business can be mentally tough. It can. So as far as those resources and contacting you again, could you please put that information out again where you could be reached?
Yep. Our phone number is 816-235-6500. And you'll talk to a real person. We work 8 to 5. You'll talk to a real person Monday through Friday. So you get immediate help right now for your business and you get the answers that you need. Or else you can set up a virtual meeting with us through kcsourcelink.com/meet. Or you can always reach out to us, access I've talked several pieces about kind of guides and training on our website. That's kcsourcelink.com. All of it is free and open to everybody. So check it out. Give us a call or a request to meet with us. Set up a Zoom call with you and we can talk to you as face-to-face as we can right now.
All right. You heard it personally from Jenny Miller herself. Now, Jenny, before we get out here and wrap this interview up, if you could tell an entrepreneur or aspiring entrepreneur one piece of advice, what would that be?
I would recommend doing as much research as possible before taking the leap of faith. And I say that with a caveat. You are not going to have all of the answers before you start. So you have to have as much information as you are to comfortably launch your business. We're here to help you through that process, but I don't want people to get surprised as they're 6 months down the road. So I try and help people combat those surprises before they happen.
All right. Well, thank you, Jenny. This has been a pleasure. It's been a while since I've seen you. Thank you so much for helping all of the entrepreneurs, everything that you've contributed within the last 7 years that you've been a part of KC SourceLink. And thanks to all the partners that you guys partner with to make it possible for those that are out here wanting to live their dreams. Again, if you could provide us that information one more time before we wrap it up.
Yep. So kcsourcelink.com is our website and our phone number 816-235-6500. And we'll be happy to help anyone that has questions, or if you just want to chat about your business, feel free to give us a ring or shoot us an email.
All right, guys. Go ahead.
There's one other program I'd like to mention real quick. If anyone is for professional assistance with COVID-19, we've seen a lot of businesses that need to talk with a professional, and they may not have the resources to do that. So we have partnered with Square One Small Business by Mid-Continent Public Library to launch a program called Pair Up with a Pro. So if anyone is interested in meeting with a professional, lawyer, accountant, you get an hour-long session with any type of professional that would help your business. And we are paying for that in this partnership with Mid-Continent until September 10th or until funding runs out. So kcsourcelink.com/pairup.
And might I add, that's a great program. I've actually utilized those resources. Very great program. So kudos to whoever, the Casey Continent Library for thinking about that and coming up with that, and all the partners that have contributed. So thank you again, Jenny.
Yes.
Thank you for taking up the time, and thank you for all that you do. And we're going to go ahead and wrap this up, guys. Until this is your very own editor-in-chief, Ashley Elise, here with Jenny Miller from
KC Sourcelight.
Until next time.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to end the recording.